us. Today we are conducting an interview for the position of Senior Administrative Associate within the Real Estate Department at the University of Texas System. The role requires strong organizational skills, attention to detail, and the ability to manage complex administrative responsibilities. We will begin the interview now. So, first question is, can you walk us through your experience and how it has prepared you for this role?
Yes, thank you. My experience is generally with the state of Texas. I have worked as an administrative assistant and a legal administrative assistant for almost 10 years. I have done records management and compliance, contract and vendor coordination. I have done legal assisting, administered protest cases, and I have also maintained license and case records. I've also worked with the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission, where I maintained legal documentation, processed open records requests, and provided customer service support.
Awesome. What interested you in working for the real estate department in the University of Texas system?
The real estate portion actually interested me. It is a challenge. I did not have much experience in real estate specifically. I touched on it while I was at the Travis County's clerk's office, and I did not actually get to delve into it as much as I wanted to, and I figured this was the opportunity for that.
Oh, okay. Well, this role involves managing complex calendars with shifting priorities. How do you stay organized and ensure the deadlines are met?
Deadlines are something that are always moving, and so I actually have a certificate with Google and their project management. Project management methods often help when shifting priorities and keeping things in intact and in order. If anything needs adjusting, I know how to pivot. Not everything is always streamlined and things don't always go the way you want to. So you have to be quick on the spot to make a decision and reprioritize how things need to be to keep the office functioning as it should.
Okay. Can you describe a time when you had to reprioritize tasks quickly due to like changing demands?
Yes, we do have a conference coming up, and in my current position, we have had to kind of shift roles. My manager needed to concentrate more on her project with the conference specifically, which meant that I had to take on a lot of her roles and a lot of her business roles kind of out prioritize mine. So I've had to kind of shift to make sure that hers get done first and then kind of reprioritize my time and reshuffle my projects so that they still get attention. They may not get as much, but they are still getting done in a very well maintained and still with the same consistent quality as is needed.
Awesome. This position requires maintaining and organizing records, including file retention and disposal. What experience do you have with document management systems?
While I was at the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission, I did process open records requests and maintain the legal documentation and electronic filings for hearings and regulatory proceedings. While I was at the Travis County's clerk office, I also maintained court records and processed case documentation. Um, as a legal assistant one with the Texas State Board of Dental Examiners, I maintain licensee and case records. So I have actually worked with records my entire career. I have a lot of experience with records management and records retention. That was actually one of my roles, not officially, but one that I was a responsibility that I was given And at the Texas Legislative Budget Board, I was responsible for um, converting and destroying up to 12,122 files over 3 months.
Wow, that's a lot. Um, how do you ensure accuracy and confidentiality when handling sensitive records?
Um, when handling confidentiality and making sure things don't go outside of the company or outside of the division, it is very important to concentrate on where your emails are going. That's usually one of the easiest ways for a person to be able to slip up. So you have to make sure your emails, first of all, are going to the correct person. We also do include legal notices at the bottom of our emails that, let the recipient know if they are not the intended recipient that they should also get rid of and delete that email. Um, I do also maintain confidentiality in itself. I do not talk about, go outside of, and gossip about whatever is going on. We keep it inside the business. We just kind of tighten and make sure that physical files, if they are confidential, go to a locked drawer, or we also have a filing room that is locked where only certain people can get in and out. When you have those kinds of um, procedures, it keeps things where they need to be.
Okay. This role also serves as a liaison between the leadership and staff. How do you handle communication across multiple teams?
I am actually very well versed with cross-functional team cooperation. As a fiscal note coordinator with the Texas Legislative Budget Board, I was often communicating with the analysts that were on my side, as well as the senators and the administration in the Capitol at the same time, to make sure that the bills would flow well, and that when they came and asked us for the cost of the bills, that we were able to get them to them in a timely manner, which sometimes had a turnaround as tight as 2 hours.
Wow. Tell us about a time you had to manage a high volume of emails and requests.
During the Texas Legislative Budget Board, during session, that is a time where you have a very high volume of emails and requests. You get these through requests where they're looking for their bill. They want to know where the bill is in the process. They're wondering if the division of the state has responded yet. And these emails can come even at 1 and 2 a.m. in the morning, and you would have to be able to respond and keep these flows going. You just have to pay a lot of attention and be very aware to how these things are handled. So typically, in the order that they come in is the order that they are answered in, unless a senator or a representative were to email in, then with that, I would have to prioritize them higher and would have to give them their answer first, but then everyone else after. And you have to make sure all of these emails are completed, because without that, you could kill a bill.
Hmm. And what is your process for preparing for meetings and ensuring they run efficiently?
When preparing for meetings, I tend to make an agenda. I feel like it keeps the meetings focused and directed, and so you don't get too much wandering out into the weeds and wasting time. I like to take notes during the meeting to make sure that important questions are not forgotten. And as a state agency, we are actually required to hold those meeting minutes for retention. So those also get logged as well. As far as meetings go, we try and keep to the agenda as much as possible and then open for questions at the end so that everyone is heard. And usually that is the best way that I have been able to help coordinate a meeting.
Okay. And have you ever coordinated across departments or external partners? And what challenges did you face when doing so?
I actually held a training for several different departments on teams. That was actually challenging because I not only had several departments that were coming in for the meeting in person, but I also had one executive director and two other directors, and then I had a couple of attendees who last minute decided they wanted to come in on Teams visually, but not, in person. So they were actually online. What was supposed to be a traditionally in-person meeting actually ended up being hybrid. And I had to do that training hybrid last minute, but it worked out. I was able to adjust, make all of my slides available online to the attendees before I actually needed to do the training.
Awesome. Well, describe a time when something went wrong in your workflow and how did you handle it?
There was a time where I was in my workflow and we discovered that a check had come in very late, and this check was reported missing, and it was a very high dollar check. It was more than $200,000. And so that actually put an end immediately to the project that I was doing. And we had to call the person who sent the check. We had to make sure that the check had not been deposited anywhere else. There were calls to the banks to make sure that this check would still clear if we did cash it or send it to our lockbox for the next few days. We had to have the customer ended up not wanting to use that check, so then they sent a courier to send us another check. That way we could get it in our hands and sign for it in person, so that they knew their check was deposited correctly, and that there were no extra fees for that, because had their check not been accepted that day, there would have been a $30,000 um, penalty fee. So there was a lot of pivoting in that moment and reprioritizing the projects, and it really did kind of throw a loop for the office for a moment. But once we got that sent to the lockbox correctly, everything went back to the original priority.
Mm. And how do you handle competing priorities when everything feels so urgent?
Typically, the quickest in, on we call them fire projects. So the fire project that takes the least amount of time gets done first. After that, we look at the importance of who's requesting. If there's an executive director, vice president, or an administrative director, chancellor, those people would get priority first. After that, we look at project time. Which project has the most time? Which one has the least time? Which one has the closest turnaround time? The one with the closest turnaround time is the one that we put on top, and the ones that don't fall in order. So that's how we typically, or how I typically like to order my priorities when it comes to everything kind of being on fire.
And what systems or tools have you used to manage administrative tasks and records?
When it comes to administrative tasks and records, we've used Teams, we've used We use our own custom database called the Real Estate Database. Um, we have asset equipment databases for our inventory. We use traditional filing, and we also use Versa. I've used Microsoft Office 365. I've also used Microsoft Office 2025. Um, I have used Caps, Adobe, Power BI, and I am very familiar with AI such as ChatGPT or Copilot.
And how comfortable are you with learning new systems or processes?
I typically pick up on processes and new systems very quickly. I've been pretty much using these systems since the DOS system, so I'm very, very familiar.
Wow, the DOS system. That brings me back. What does a strong administrative support look like to you?
A strong administrative support is someone who knows their role. They're very familiar with what they are supposed to be doing and the processes that they have. It's not so much a position where you stick with these processes all the time. However, you are often looking for ways to even improve those processes at times to help the organization or your division or your area function properly. You always want to be a help when you can, helping the office run smoothly. And that to me is a lot of support work. That could be something like taking an extra project every once in a while. That could be answering phones when someone is out to keep everything running, even when someone is out at that time. To me, that is a good administrative associate.
And why should we select you for this position?
Because I have the experience. A lot of times people want to um say a jack of all trades is a master of none, but when you need someone who can pivot, someone who can be your IT, someone who can make sure that your office is still managed even when the manager is out, when you need someone to be able to pick up the slack where others may need help, when you need someone who is a professional who can learn quickly and adjust to anything your office can throw, you need someone like me. I'm a person who is very adjustable, very flexible. I learn very quickly, and I am very willing to help and work with others.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, that would be the last of my questions for you. I thank you so much for the time that you have given.
Thank
And
you.
I will go over this with the leadership and see what's up.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great
Mhm.
day.
Bye.